How's it going today, ladies and gentlemen? Varsity Salty VTuber here, and I've got a story today. And I'm not going to curb my language at all for this, so just a heads up, if you're easily offended, don't watch this video. So, this is a work story, and what ended up happening yesterday. So first things first, quick overview. I work at a factory. We make trash bags, and I'm a line operator. And what that means is I inspect product and make adjustments to the line as needed, and generally make sure product gets out the door in a decent amount of time. Try to make sure that when it goes out, it's in good shape. So usually a quick overview of my days. I get in, I clock in, I see what lines I'm on, and a lot of times I get stuck with, let's face it, bullshit orders. One of the leads actually even pointed out to me that you get a lot of shitty orders. But the main reason for this is because I can generally be counted on to do my job, which is bitten me in the ass on more than one occasion. Because there's been times where weeks on end, I get thrown on orders that, let's put it this way, and it's even been pointed out to me that most of the time I can be, especially by the supervisors, I can be counted on to do the shitty jobs because, well, I'm not going to walk out. A couple times I've thought about it, but anyway, I digress. So what ended up happening yesterday, because this week in general, it's been a pretty good week. Aside from maybe a rough start to the beginning, it's actually been pretty good. Got a couple of slow lines, got stuck on a couple of different slow orders that are not couple of lines that were running the same order for the last week or so. And it was shaping up to be a pretty good week. Not particularly exhausting. I was actually in a good mood. So, yeah. And of course, I got in. We have 12 lines 1 through 12, and technically we have 13 because line 1 can be divvied up into 2 separate lines. But what ended up happening was I got in and saw I was on lines 10 and 11. I looked at the one girl I was talking to and said, I must be on Santa. And as we were walking out, I looked at her and I said, I must have made Santa's good list or something because this has been a nice week. And she just like, you must have. I should have opened my mouth. So, and you all know I probably shouldn't have opened my mouth. So as I'm getting to my lines, the guy standing there looked at me and said, okay, so this is what you got going on. You're adding this to this line, adding this to this line. He had a bunch of stuff done. All I would have had to do was keep them on boxes on 11, maybe label up about 20, 30 more, and I would have been set. Had to get the next order for 10. So I'm getting settled in, and I joke around with the guy a little bit, and not 10 minutes after I get settled in, the one supervisor, he got regulated to training leads, looks at me and said, hey, I need you to switch this person because they're having a tough time packing boxes. So you have 2 other people that you can go to, but no, you come to me. And this is not the first time this has happened. When someone's having a tough time doing something, I'm the first person they come to. If you could actually see my actual real life expression, not just the model's expression, but if you see my actual real life expression, you can already imagine the really look that's on my face right now. So I'm like, okay. So I go over and I look at her. The girl looks at me and says, what? You need to move to my lines because I'm taking over these. The boss wants me to. Or the one of the bosses wants me to. And she says, okay. So I let her know what's going on. She lets me know what's going on that line. And I get over there. And here's the thing. These lines are not in good shape. She went and got the boxes for the next order on the one line. It's line 8. Not 8. 9. And then there were the boxes for line 8. Nothing's done. I have maybe 30, 40 cases on 9. Probably about 50, 60 cases on 8. I'm like, okay, so because this line's having problems packing, I have to fight with the boxes a little bit. That's going to take up a little bit more time, so I'm going to have to get it in gear and play chase line. That's exactly what I said. So just looks like I'm going to be playing chase line for a little bit. And I go to pack line 9. This is the one that's having trouble packing. And I put the one drop in. It is 0.14. I'm like, okay, I saw the box was caught under the one piece of the scale. I'm sure some of you are probably going to guess where this is going to go, but just a heads up, I'm not curbing my language in this. So, I should have guessed something was up. But I'm like, okay, so let's figure out what's going on. I shift it, take the drop out, or I shift it, drop still reads 1 or 0.14. Now, first things first, your scale, you're going to have your pounds and ounces. So let's just get that out of the way. 0.14, so basically 1.4 ounces. Or 1 ounce, 1/4 of an ounce. Now, here's the thing. While we do technically use the pound system, we have a metric style measuring. So instead of 12 ounces to a pound, it is 10 ounces to a pound. So basically, metric style system, but uses the American naming. A bit confusing, but I'm sorry. I'm irritated about this. I'm trying to. So I pull the bags out. I look up. On the scale, it reads negative 2.04 pounds. The scale was not zeroed out properly. Yeah. So I look at it. I went to go find the supervisor. Lo and fucking behold, as soon as he moves me, he's nowhere to be found. I can't find the actual supervisor on shift. Although I think it turns out that I guess he took over from another supervisor. But anyways, I can't find the guy who's on shift. Can't find. Looked at the lead, one of the leads, and said, this shit wasn't zeroed out properly. So I zeroed out, and turns out that the boxes that one lady had been packing, and from that point down, have been packed about 2-3 pounds heavy. The order was supposed to be 13.5 pounds. They packed it anywhere between 15 to 16 and a half pounds. It's like, you motherfucker. And it wasn't on this, it wasn't on the lady who'd been running the line. Just keep that in mind. It wasn't on her. It was on the idiot who'd been running the line beforehand. So I'm standing there with the lead, or both leads come over. We had the extra on the floor over. We had to repack probably about 14, 15 cases just to make sure they were back to weight. And here's the thing. I told the supervisors on shift, he didn't move me back to the lines I was on. So I had to fight that, basically play catch up on my line all day. I'm like, what kind of retarded monkey doesn't actually check this shit? Or who the hell was running this? Because I was going to slap him. And I look, and the woman over, when I told her about what was going on, and I was angry, and I looked at her and said, I'm not angry at you. I'm angry with the moron who was running it beforehand. And I'm thinking they hit the zero scale, or zeroed it out before and didn't realize what was going on. Or they knew about it, but didn't bother to actually fix it, instead decided to pack extra bags to bring it up to weight. This, my blood is boiling just thinking about it right now. And this is what happens when you have people who won't do their jobs. Because at first I thought, it was like, I want to know who set this up. It turns out it was the supervisor. Well, judging by the looks of it, the supervisor who was on shift before the trainer took over, wasn't responsible for this. It happened around case 20, so it is on the person who was running the line beforehand. So I had to fight my lines most of the day, and I just kind of shook my head. So the lead went back. He was trying to figure out why it was so difficult to pack. And he went back, adjusted the tension on the one machine. So we have this machine. The tension is basically how loose or how tight your bag is. So tension can affect how your bag's packed. So he went back, adjusted it, and it was packing much better. Granted, it eventually got to the point where he switched it to 125 a drop. I had to switch it to 100, so I only get 5 drops instead of 8. It just, well, here's the thing. Here's another thing. So here recently, we got briefed on distractions in the workplace, like cell phones. The supervisor who took over for the afternoon, the leads were all working on something, so I went and told him, hey, we got 10 cases left. This gives the supervisors enough time, supervisors, leads, whatever, enough time to get things figured out. That way they have other orders coming up. They know that that order is going to be coming up here soon, and it gives them a chance to basically manage their time a little bit more effectively. If there's a spare lead on the floor, whatever. They can send that lead over to help with the order change, do it, help with it, whatever. So that's what I did. I informed him, and he's sitting there packing. I think he was given a break, packing the one line. So he's looking at his phone when I'm talking to him, and I said, hey, we have 10 cases left. He's like, okay. So they complete the last layer, 63 cases when it was supposed to be 70. This dumb motherfucker turns or shuts the whole line down. I said, hey, we have one more layer. You said 2 cases. No, I said 10. So then he reams me out and says, I don't care what other supervisors want. You tell me when you have 2-3 cases left. Because that shit gets confusing as hell. I almost went to him. I had to walk away because I didn't trust my tongue not to say a few other things. But I wanted to go to him and say, well, maybe if you hadn't been standing there on your motherfucking phone, since we just got a safety briefing on distractions in the workplace, if you've been actually paying attention instead of dicking around on your phone, texting your girlfriend, whatever, you might have actually heard me. So we had to set that whole line up. And he's like, that's what happened. I misheard him. He was talking to one lead because the lead was making fun of him for it. It's, now mind you, this guy, look, this guy should not have been a lead, shouldn't have even been a utility in the first place. He got promoted as a utility because his daddy's high up in the company. And his father explicitly did not want him in any kind of managerial position because he knew he wasn't suited for it. Credit where credit's due, he's shaped up a little bit these days. He will, at the very least, make sure take the extra time to make sure everything is running smooth so he doesn't have to do a bunch of extra work. So credit where credit is due. But at the same time, if you are so engrossed in your phone, this guy spends, I swear, if he spent as much time working, becoming a supervisor, doing everything that a supervisor is supposed to do, dedicate as much time to that as he does on his phone, he'd probably be one of the best, if not the best supervisor in the plant. And people have told him that to his face. I think I've actually said something to him. It's like, hey, if you spend as much time, for salt mode, salty rage mode, that's what's here. Salty rage mode, that is what's coming out today. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, and get this, we set up, so here's the thing, we have what are called food bags. And there's this whole specialized machine we got to run with them. You know those bags you put popcorn in, or you see like your popcorn or whatever comes in, you tie it off with a zip tie? That's what we make. We're not exactly a food grade facility, but we still make them. So they set everything up, and instead of taking the time to make sure it's running correctly, or should say they walk away from it, I start having problems. I'm trying to get somebody's attention, trying to keep the machine from jamming. We have seals pulling. Lo and fucking behold, it jams up, snaps off, and then I have to basically stand there for about 2-3 minutes yelling, trying to get somebody to actually come over, where one of the leads wasn't able, we couldn't find one of the leads. The supervisor and another lead were trying to set up an order, which that's not on them. Or yeah, this isn't on them, but it's like, hell, I got hell in a handbasket coming on over here, and your one lead's nowhere to be found. So the extra comes over, the lead comes over, and then finally the supervisor makes his way over. So again, supervisor, not on him. What happened before, the fact he shut the line down early because he wasn't paying attention, is on him. But yeah, just like, oh god, I hate running food bags. It's just, this is what happens when you get idiots who don't want to do their jobs or won't take the time to actually fix shit when they know something's up, and then people like me have to pay for it. Now look, I will say this much, I'm on day shift. There's a lot of complaints about afternoons from midnights, but midnights is even worse. Midnights is comprised of a bunch of, here's the thing, we have a few good workers. Basically the way it works with a lot of the shifts is that you have the really good workers on days. You have, the main reason I'm on days because I'm tired of getting home at past midnight. You have a mix of average, good, and bad workers on afternoons. And then you have all the, screw-ups, fuck-ups, whatever, swinging of maybe one or two good workers on midnights. And a lot of times these guys will... okay, let's see. Not been able to reach 400 yards yet. Okay, lost my train of thoughts. A lot of times the midnights people, like one of the guys, he'll label some boxes, make it look like he's got a bunch of boxes labeled, and none of them will be done. Putting you behind me, you have to play chase line all day, or he'll fill out a single sheet of paperwork, you'll pull up, and there's a couple of them that do this. You'll pull them up, with the paperwork anyway, you'll pull up, okay, so you assume you have all your paperwork done. None of the paperwork's done. You have one sheet. So then you have to scramble to get your paperwork done. You have to scramble to get boxes labeled. It's like, you son of a bitch, you knew things were running fast, and you didn't actually take the time to make sure the person's prepped. You just made it look like that so you could go home early. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know, it's stuff like this just irritates the hell out of me. Like, genuinely irritates me. It's not even so much... Oh, hey, look. Anyways, sorry about that. But it's when stuff like this happens, it causes problems. So moral of the story, double check shit. Make sure stuff's done right. So you don't make either your life harder or the person after you's life harder if you work in, or just in general. Take the time, do your shit right. That way you do your shit right. Don't make your life miserable, or don't make life miserable for others. Because guess what? We're all in this shit show together. Anyways, I'm sorry for the... okay. Yeah, I'm sorry for the pauses of where I just lost my train of thought because I'm ready to... I'm ready to have a few choice words with my coworkers. None of them particularly polite. Anyways, stuck around this long. Thanks for listening to my rant on why you take time to make sure your job's done right. And I will see you all next time. Peace out.